We have Rebecca Walser, president of Walser Wealth Management. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So let's start with a conversation about one of the mega cap, Apple, which, although NVIDIA this week crossed it and Microsoft in terms of the most valuable company, but Apple talking more about AI. And one of the questions recently surrounding Apple had been, okay, when is it going to do more in the AI space? They've come out and said, okay, yes, we're doing this. What does this say to you, this push by Apple into, more deeply into generative AI?
I think that they maybe initially thought that they could do it in-house themselves. And so Apple Intelligence, which has just been recently announced, it's a very interesting situation because it's talking about, when you read the technical papers, that Siri will actually try to answer questions first. But if not, then it will go to ChatGPT. But even Apple software, lead software basically engineer said, but we're still going to incorporate Google's Gemini. So they're not exclusively with open AI, and they're going to broaden out their spectrum, which means that, what kind of actual synergies are they going to be able to create? And the biggest thing that I notice about Apple's AI is that they're really cautiously approaching it from a privacy perspective. And I appreciate that, Diane, because the phone is probably uniquely the only thing technologically that we keep on our person all day long. At least I do. I know you do. Yes. But we do. So, it has more privacy concerns. So what they're saying is that even the intelligence inquiries into ChatGPT will not be shared. It's going to be more of a personalized experience and environment. So it's different than this corporate level AI that we're seeing business to business.
I wonder now, though, do we have to kind of just accept the risk with regard to our data being out there? I do think Apple does a pretty good job now. They'll tell you, when like an app is tracking you, you can opt out of that. But with this kind of broader push into AI, what does that mean? Are we sacrificing some privacy for the benefit of just increased access to technology?
It's 100% surveillance capitalism. They've parlayed that now into the AI space. And obviously, if they can figure out how to monetize it, which is all just like the .com that we were just talking about in the break, the monetization is still a question mark, but that will come. And so, it is, you're giving them your information so that they can return a personalized, better, more well-rounded, broader universe experience. And so that does require bi-directional communication of your information.
So, we talked a little bit about the monetization when we were in a break and where that's going with some companies. For some companies, it's obvious to see how it occurs, such as the chip makers, but with an Apple and Apple Intelligence, does this move now with Apple Intelligence force a new super cycle of upgrades? Because, for instance, I'm holding on to an iPhone. I think this is a 13 right here.
Yeah, you can't, like you said, you basically have to have the 15 because it's iOS 18 that basically is the one that has the AI interaction. So I don't know if it's a processing issue with the older models that it requires an upgrade to the processing unit inside of Apple. But yeah, it is going to give them more ability to sell their phones, and people get sort of sick of that with a $1,200 price of a 15. And when it first came out, that was a little bit like, oh wow, sticker shock. So it just means Apple is morphing, like what I consider Tesla to be. It's a data company. It's an intelligence, tech company. It's not really a phone company.
Yeah,
just like Tesla, not a car company.
And look, with the move with regard to Apple Intelligence, it certainly helped the shares make some move this year compared to where they had been, because they had been lagging. Yeah. Especially when you go back to kind of the April levels, you're looking at climb a mountain right there. It's under a little bit of pressure today, but year to date, it's up double digits. Let's talk a little bit about NVIDIA. NVIDIA continuing to gain ground today. That stock is up at the moment. It's up just 1 3/4% right there. NVIDIA has really just kind of been the leader in this market. I've consistently referred to it as the Usain Bolt when it comes to AI. It is.
That's a great analogy. I love it. The lightning bolt.
It is.
Yeah.
Does it continue to have its lightning bolt momentum when it comes to this market?
I personally relate it to Google. Like, Google probably isn't the best bowling search engine, but it was the first to market, and it has never been caught up with. Let's be honest. Bing and everything doesn't come close. So this is the new beginning of the new AI space. And I think that they have such a parlay into that environment. You've got others that are going to try to catch up, but it's going to be really, really hard, Diane. It's going to be a really big challenge. And then you've got companies that are like Tesla saying, oh, we're going to do 10 billion. And then obviously the chips get switched to X is XAI's platform. And so you've got a lot of Meta, though, spending way way more than that. So you've got a lot of companies that are now really starting to focus on their actual R&D spend on AI because they know this is the future.
Yeah, and it's so funny to your point about this is the future. Now, NVIDIA is being, it has to become, if it's not already, a household name.
Oh, yeah.
Because of where it is, how much power it has behind, like it fuels just so many things that people don't even realize. What's the story that we should be paying attention to next when it comes to like NVIDIA or other players in this mega cap tech space?
The AI space, it's going to take, the monetization is going to have to broaden out amongst, the sectors, because we're just focused on the tech now, right now. I saw a little meme video yesterday it said, NVIDIA investors checking their cash position, and it was a guy running with a little, like he had no cash. Did you see that? And then he had two buckets.
Yes.
It's hilarious. By the time he's just falling over with all of his cash. So, they're very cash rich, but the actual application, Diane, is where the monetization is going to come from. So we really have to quickly see personalized benefit from AI, or people are going to say, but what does it do? If it just helps corporations get smarter and enter corporation, we've got NVIDIA's three largest clients are three largest companies in the world, so it's like this is corporate to corporate cash transfers that we're looking at right now, and we need to see broader monetization and bringing it down to the user level, because right now people can't even explain, well, what will AI help me do better?
Okay, so obviously we've talked a lot about NVIDIA. It's the clear winner.
Yeah.
What are the other, or who are the other AI winners from your point of view?
I mean, I think you've got Supermicron, computers and SMCI. You've got, you've got Dell and other people trying to make partnerships with other chip makers. But do they have the processing capacity? It's a multi-algorithmic processing capacity in a chip. It's a supersized chip. So until we see an actual proven market solution to rival it, it's going to be tough for them. That's why they've got such a lead time in the first in class.
And any final thoughts on the mega cap tech sector for the balance of the year? We're halfway through the year. What are you looking for the back half of this year?
The thing is I'm expecting macroeconomic disruption, and because the AI is so new, it's a new frontier, it's not proven enough yet, you will see a retrenchment even with NVIDIA if there's a broad worldwide market meltdown. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the macro geopolitical things that are happening that could really cause depression in the equity side. And NVIDIA, unfortunately, is going to be affected just like anybody else, maybe to a lesser extent because people will still hold on hope long-term runway, but definitely don't expect, because NVIDIA is so great and has such a lead, that they're going to be able to abstain any global economic conditions, because it's not monetized yet where people will say, I have to have this, I have to have this, I'm going to hold this.
Okay, so the market may be about NVIDIA today, but pay attention to the macro picture.
Absolutely. The macro, I think, is what's going to control the end of 2024. So far, not so much. It's been very kept at bay, but I think we're about to see some big changes before the election especially.
Okay, before the election. That would be one to pay attention to. Rebecca Walser, always great insight.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Rebecca Walser, President of Walser Wealth Management.